Hi, Partho.
Hello.
Welcome to the discussion around your new upcoming book, Tales from the Mystical Beyond.
Thank you. You're amongst the very few who have already read it, and it's not even gone for print.
Yes, I feel I'm really privileged and it was a delight reading the book and felt like it's been written for us, some of us who have been following your work. And for the viewers, whoever is watching, this is your fourth book.
My fourth book, yes.
The first one was The Integral Education.
Yes.
Second was Somewhere Amongst the Stars.
The Stars, though written under a pseudonym, Adiva.
Yes. The third one was This is Sanatan Dharma, and this is the fourth one. And Tales from the Mystical Beyond, it's a very interesting category, which is a unique category, spiritual fiction.
Yes. I wouldn't say spiritual fiction.
Yeah.
Fictionalized spirituality.
Fictionalized
But
spirituality.
it's not fiction in that sense. Everything that is written in the stories are based on real people and their real experiences.
Yes. And since there are not many books or any books in this category, so we can name the category whatever we want.
It's a new genre.
We can name the category whatever we want. So fictionalized spirituality, that's a category. And it's comprising of two stories. One on Shiva, Caves of Shiva, and second is Kalki, the First Awakening. Would you like to explain the inspiration, how you thought about writing this book, what inspired you?
So this book would mean these two stories that you mentioned. So Cave of Shiva started many, many years ago, not as a story, as a real life experience. I had gone to the mountains, to the Himalayas for a trek to Pindari Glacier, and I went in the remote part of the Himalayas on the way to the glacier.
Somebody sent you there, right? Sorry for interrupting.
Yes, somebody said that.
Yes.
That's another story.
Yeah.
And I met this person that I've called Babaji in my story, also known as Moni Baba in that locality. So I met and spent some time with him. He was great, a profound mystic, and one who I believed was living in a state of constant union with the Shiva consciousness, the Shiva. And I had gained a lot from him in a very brief period that I came to know of him. Very, very brief period that I could spend with him. But then I did my own research for years after that, and I got a lot of insights into what he was, what kind of contacts he had with others around, the close encounters. And then I wove it all together. I used to keep notes of all my explorations over the years. So I just used all that and I wove it into a story. So in that sense, it's fiction, it's a story, but it's not fiction because it's based on a real person and real experiences of a real person. And yes, and this is the time that I thought I would share it with the world, because of the intrinsic value of such a thing. Humans who live like that and who experience life in dimensions most of us would never even
Fathom.
conceive, no? Be able to conceive of such dimensions, leave alone actively pursue them. But knowing such people, you realize that life is infinitely richer, infinitely more creative than you can even dream of. The possibilities of life are almost infinite. And then at the other story, Kalki, the Great Awakening, the First Awakening. So initially that was the Great Awakening. So yeah, I eventually called it the First Awakening because I thought that was more appropriate. This is a story based on again, an exceptional, an extraordinary being, based on an extraordinary being. And I don't want to name her because there are many who will read this book and will connect the dots and will realize who I'm talking about. But I don't want to say that now because I don't want to give away the game. So, but it's based on the real life story and experiences and realizations of extraordinary being.
And this experience of the being came from the being that being shared
Yes.
over time in letters or write-ups or in stories.
She has shared
She's
lot
shared this
of
much.
her experience. Again, I have woven this into a story
Yes,
form.
of course.
So it's fictional at that level, but it's not fiction because all of it is real. Some of it is projection, some of it is a bit of a creation. I took a bit of the poetic license. But, yeah.
Hence the fictionalized spirituality. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and in the first story, The Caves of Shiva, Moni Baba, whom you met, the name suggests he didn't used to speak much, if at all.
No.
But did you interact with him did you guys speak or was it more telepathic?
He spoke.
He spoke with you?
He spoke.
Okay.
But that was when I was just about starting my own journey
Yeah.
in Vedanta.
Okay.
Today, if you are asking me the question today, so my answer would be different. At that time, I would have said, yes, of course he spoke to me. But today, I don't know whether he spoke to me or he communicated with me without speaking to me. So if you read the story, it's there.
Yeah.
The encounter
Yes,
is there,
yes,
but where will you place this encounter is a question that I leave the reader with.
So this is, I think, if I'm not wrong, this experience goes back to 80s at some point, 80s
Yes.
or so. And you said you did some research afterwards about the being, how he was.
I used to come back to that area frequently, and then I would talk to many people because he had met a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was more than curiosity. It was a sort of a reaching out
Yes.
to that presence.
Right.
So I spoke to a lot of people, and I did find a few who had very interesting, very profound encounters.
Got it.
And I also happened to, the protagonist of the story who actually went through vast and profound experiences because of him. So I could connect with this person, and that's how I could build the story.
And lots of the concepts of Vedanta are beautifully explained poetically in different conversations or in telepathy or in different communications, which were also emphasized deeply in Somewhere Among the Stars also.
Yes,
Which was much more detailed, longer version in some sense, but this was more distilled,
Yes.
synthesized.
It's almost like it's a poem
Yeah,
written like a story,
yeah.
or sort of a dramatic poem written like a story.
For our viewers, could you talk a bit about Shiva consciousness? What is Shiva? What does Shiva mean to you in context of this book? How it's coming across, and how have you tried to put it in words, which is a hard thing to do in the first place? But
So Shiva is the pure non-dual consciousness, the consciousness that is this very universe. To put it in a slightly more Vedantic language, this universe is a manifestation of consciousness and one single, non-dual, indivisible, seamless consciousness, pure consciousness, supreme consciousness. There are various ways of describing it. But just think of reality as one consciousness. And everything that we experience as reality, including this cosmos, is a manifestation or an extension of that consciousness. Think of it as this consciousness itself becoming this universe and becoming everything in this universe. So this universe and everything in this universe is a self-becoming of that consciousness, and that consciousness is Shiva. When one goes beyond the visible and the tangible, the manifest consciousness, and enters within consciousness itself, seeking the very source of consciousness, one reaches Shiva. Shiva is the source of being. In fact, Shiva is the only being that there is. When we say I am, when you say I am, I say I am, what are we saying really? I am means I am pointing to being. I am means this is, isn't it? I am, this is, same thing. So am and is are grammatically and conceptually related. Am, I am, and this is and am are both existence. The root is being. So when I say I am, I'm actually pointing to that one being, which you two are pointing to when you say I am. So when you say I am and I say I am, we are not pointing at two different I am. The I am is one being that we are both pointing at, that we are both referring to. So you're referring, when Kunal says I am, he's referring to being. When Partho says I am, Partho is referring to being. The being is one. The manifestation of the being in this mind configuration is Kunal. In this mind or mental configuration is Partho. So you have infinite mental configurations of the same reality, the same being. That being is Shiva. So in Sanatana Dharma, one of the highest realizations and one of the highest realizations of identity is Shivoham. I am Shiva. Now, I am Shiva is not that I am sitting and saying I am Shiva. What is I am being is Shiva. Shivoham. Ham is aham. Aham is Atma, which is being. So this being itself is Shiva. That's what the yogi is saying when he says Shivoham. Being itself is Shiva.
As a simpler analogy, which hopefully some viewers would also follow or easily follow, is the distinction between, let's say, I'm a wave in the sea, in the ocean. I call myself Kunal Wave, you call yourself Partho Wave. But we're both part of the sea, and the whole sea itself.
Yes, the sea is Shiva.
Yes. Yes.
So we are waves arising from Shiva's consciousness and falling back into Shiva's consciousness.
Yes. Beautiful. And what does a cave represent? Cave of Shiva?
So as I have said it in the story itself, the cave of Shiva is that place in you where you are completely alone, ekaki. When I say completely alone, it means there is no thought in you, there is no identity, no identification, no relation. You have resolved into pure being. You have entered the very source of the consciousness that you are. You are conscious. That otherwise you won't be here talking to me. You are conscious. And everyone can say, I am conscious. Very easy to say, I am conscious. The difficult thing is to say, I am consciousness itself, not I am conscious. I am conscious is a very small projection of the fact that I am consciousness itself. But that's the leap one has to make from the ordinary mind to the Vedantic, from I am conscious to I am consciousness. And when you know yourself as that, I am consciousness, then you know consciousness is the only thing that there is. So I am consciousness itself. When you say that, I am consciousness itself, what are you saying? You're saying that this I am conscious, this
Mind-body
projection of the consciousness, mind, body, and all that, has a source.
Yes.
Which is consciousness itself. So when you reach this source, the source of consciousness itself, that's the cave of Shiva. So it's the cave of the heart.
Yes.
Heart is the center of consciousness, the core of consciousness, that's the heart. So the cave of the heart is the cave of Shiva. Hridayam Guhayam. So the heart of the cave, Guha cave, Hridayam Guhayam, or Hriday Guhayam, so cave of the heart. That cave of the heart I've called Cave of Shiva.
How many days did you spend with Moni Baba when you went? It was only once you met him or a few times? If he...
If you were to ask me as your friend, I would probably say not more than 3 to 4 days. But if you read the book and you were to go deeper into how how Babaji would
Yeah.
manifest, then
Lives.
time loses sense. In 2 to 3 days, you can live many years.
Yes.
Now, of course, I know. At that time, I felt it. Today, I know it and I can explain it. That time dilation occurs when you're in the presence of such beings. Relativistic time dilation. So, what to the outer world would seem to be 2 or 3 days only, for you would be years, and not just years, lifetimes.
Lifetimes. Yeah.
Lifetimes would open up for you. That's what pure consciousness can do. And one who's realized his identity with Shiva can play with space-time. I mentioned somewhere in the story, he plays with space-time. The way we play with matter.
I think I would let the readers hopefully get the book soon once it comes out. Hopefully in 1 to 2 months or so, give or take.
Yeah.
A couple of months max.
Couple of months, yes.
And a little bit on the second story. So in Kalki, the first awakening. So it's a shorter story. It's just about the awakening of a child that
Yes.
experiences certain things, and then somebody's watching.
Till the first awakening. That's why I call the story the first awakening.
Yeah.
Kalki, the first awakening. Kalki, as you know, is a very mystifying, very compelling figure in Sanatana Dharma.
Yes.
The 10th avatar of Vishnu. And, a lot of romance built around Kalki. And there are many people who are waiting for Kalki's coming to earth. So this is a story based on Kalki's actually coming to earth. And of course, people will say, I'm finally lost it. Completely crazy to say such a thing. But I have reasons to believe Kalki has come to earth and has started. In the traditional sense, one would say his word, because Kalki is supposed to be in the line of Vishnu's avatar, so a male. But what if I tell you Kalki was born as a woman? And she started her work on earth, which will accomplish what Kalki is meant to accomplish on earth. Perhaps that's all I can say to you, but I wouldn't like to spell out things. Let the reader figure it out for himself or herself. And these are two stories where I have, these are no holes barred stories. These are two stories where I've just let it out. This is it. Deal with it. You don't like it, get it away.
Yes.
And just throw it away. This doesn't make sense. If it makes sense somewhere, it'll make sense, and it'll carry you to become a vehicle. It'll transport you somewhere, and that's it.
Sure.
It's a story that the reader has to deal with.
Take it or leave it. Okay, good. Just one last question on this. So, Somewhere Among the Stars and Tales from the Mystical Beyond, both these books, whoever reads, great, good for them. I loved reading both of them, and I've been fortunate to hear more behind the scenes stories also. So, do you think either of these books or both of them could be well spread in the form of video content? So, in form of some kind of a movie or a TV series or something?
Very objectively speaking, I think both these stories have enormous cinematic potential.
Yes.
And at one time, many years ago, when I was still in college, I used to be, I really wanted to get into films, into cinema. I wanted to direct films, and I studied a lot of cinema at that time. So today, when I read my own books, I could actually see it as a cinema in my mind's eye. They have very strong cinematic potential if they get to a person who knows the medium.
Yes.
You know, we are making very good science fiction films.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not science fiction of a different kind? A mystical science fiction.
Indian science fiction, we don't have to go to space all the time.
And there's so much material if someone touches this. And when I wrote Tales from the Mystical Beyond, one of the aspirations of my mind is to continue this.
Yes.
So have another Tales and few more as things start
Flowing.
yes.
Great.
Inspiration comes.
I strongly feel this forms as one of the purest, unique content that could and should impact more people, reach more people in the form of some video, TV series.
I think the future is much
Cinematic.
more of cinema.
Cinematic in some sense. So I felt that, hence I was asking you, do you...
I too felt that. Actually.
Yeah.
I too felt that.
Yeah.
That this scene would be so beautiful on the screen.
Yes.
Then, as we go into the future, it's cinema and VR are going to merge. So you'll actually be living
Living in the Tales from the Mystical Beyond.
the tales, actually walking with the characters,
Yes.
experiencing the mountain air when you walk with the character. Possibilities are endless.
Yes. Great. Partho, can't wait to get it in the book form in my hands and some for my friends and gift it to. It's a super inspiring gift for all of us who are in touch with you, learning so much from you, and also following Vedanta and are aware of some of these characters and stories. It's a great awareness to anybody who's open, who's even not aware of any of this. Just come with an open mind. There's so much you can gather, so much you can grasp, but you need to start with an open mind. And as you said, it's some fiction and some spirituality, not everyone's cup of tea, but coming to...
The mind has to have a possibility thinking.
Correct.
Instead of being limited by
What I know is
what I can see and what I can touch
Yeah.
and feel is all that is real. Possibility thinking, a willingness at least to stretch the limits of our mind.
That's great, Partha. Look forward to having a signed copy. And
Thank you so much.
thanks for this.
Thanks.